Hi, I'm Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to this week's Confident English lesson, where we're focused on how to talk like a modern traveler in English. Of course, the world of travel has changed. It changes every year, and as a result, our language changes as well. And I want to make sure that if you are traveling over the next few months in English, that you know exactly what to say at hotels and airports and when you meet people at restaurants or cafes. So today we're going to look at exactly what you should be saying and what to ask when you're traveling in English. To get us started, let's talk about flying. There have been changes in airlines over the last few years, and one of the things that has become fantastic if you are an airline traveler is the in-flight entertainment. The in-flight entertainment is the opportunity to watch TV shows and movies, and now, much of the time, each individual seat on an airplane has its own screen, and the entertainment is on demand. On demand means you get to pick whatever you want to watch, and your neighbor, your family member, your son, your daughter, your husband, wife, mom, sister, they get to pick whatever they want to watch. It is on demand. And thankfully, that in-flight entertainment is usually free of charge, which means you don't have to pay for it. You've already paid for the plane ticket. So it's nice to have that free entertainment. With all of that on-demand entertainment, it's the perfect time to do a little bit of binge watching. So you get the opportunity to watch all those movies you've wanted to watch, or all your favorite movies again, or maybe a TV show that you love. Now, to do all of that, you definitely need headphones, and I usually bring my own. I almost always have these with me, but if you do not, you can always ask for a pair of headphones from the flight attendant. A pair of headphones. A really easy question to use is, do you have a pair of headphones I can use? Once you arrive at your destination, maybe you're staying at a hotel, maybe it's at a resort, maybe you're staying with family or friends, but now it's also very common to stay at an Airbnb. Now, an Airbnb is different from a B&B. A B&B is a bed and breakfast. This is usually a really small boutique hotel or a hotel that is in someone's home and they always prepare breakfast for you. It's very intimate and small. But Airbnb is a little bit different. Airbnb is usually renting someone's home or a room in their home, but they don't necessarily have a hotel. They don't always prepare you breakfast. You're renting the space inside their home, or you're renting their apartment, or maybe even renting the whole house, depending on where you're traveling. Another option that has become more popular is a house swap. To swap something is to exchange it. So a house swap is when two people agree to exchange their home. Maybe I do a house swap with someone who lives in California. They come and stay in my house, and I go to their house in California, so we each get a little bit of a vacation. And finally, some people really love to house sit, which can be a great free way to do a little bit of travel. To house sit for someone means that you stay in their home while they're away. So for example, if I have a friend who lives in Florida and she's going away for a month, she might ask me to come house sit, and I would definitely say yes. I would love to visit Florida for a month and stay in someone's house. So those are all some modern travel options for where you might be staying or what your accommodation might be while you travel. Now, one of the things that has become critical for most of us when we travel is access to the internet. We want to stay in touch with family and friends. We want to post our travel pictures on Instagram and Facebook or send them by email. And if you're like me, maybe you work and travel constantly. All I need to do for my job is have a computer and the internet so I can work from anywhere, which is totally awesome. But it does mean that I need the internet everywhere I go. So these are some really important questions for me to ask. Do you have Wi-Fi here? Or even better, do you have free Wi-Fi here? And if so, what's your Wi-Fi code? That's the passcode that you sometimes need to get into someone's Wi-Fi or internet connection. If you're having some problems with it, you might say, the Wi-Fi isn't working, or there's a bad Wi-Fi connection. And in that situation, you might need to ask them to reboot or restart their connection. So you might ask them, could you reboot your Wi-Fi, or could you reconnect? Now, if you are out wandering around all day and you're taking a lot of photos on your phone and updating your Facebook posts, sending them in emails, checking your work email, whatever you're doing, it's very possible that you might need to charge your phone. So perhaps you'll go to a cafe and ask, can I charge my phone here? Or is there somewhere I can charge my phone? Or maybe it's your computer or a tablet. Having your phone fully charged is super helpful and important if you're using something like Google Maps. You might be using it to help you find somewhere that you want to go, or maybe you are talking to someone at the hotel, or you meet someone who lives in the city that you're visiting, and they give you a recommendation and you really want to go. Maybe it's a restaurant or a little museum that you've never heard of. And maybe they show you where it is on Google Maps. And you might ask them, could you drop a pin on that? Could you drop a pin on that? Dropping a pin is when you mark a location on something like Google Maps or another application that you have on your phone. And finally, if you're traveling internationally, maybe you want to make some phone calls, but you don't want to pay those international charges. So you might be looking for a local SIM card. A SIM card is that little card in your phone that gives you a local phone number. So again, you could go to a shop and simply ask, how much is a SIM card here? Or you could ask someone at the hotel, where can I buy a local SIM card? Sometimes while you're traveling, you get to know other people. Maybe you start a conversation with someone at a cafe, or you meet some people in the hotel where you're staying, and you want to stay in touch. And now most of us stay in touch by social media. So you might ask them, are you on Instagram? What's your Instagram handle? Or what's your Instagram name? Are you on Facebook? Are you findable on Facebook? Some people have very strong privacy settings and it's really hard to find them on Facebook. So we might ask, are you findable on Facebook? Or what's your Facebook name? If you've taken some photos together and you want to upload them to Facebook, you might want to ask, can I tag you in the photo? When you tag someone, you attach their name to the photo. They can see it, all their friends can see it, and they may or may not want you to do that. So it's always polite to ask. All right, so far we've discussed modern travel language for airline travel and international flight, accommodations, getting that important Wi-Fi and internet access and being able to charge all of your electronics. And we've talked about connecting to people on social media. So we have one more thing left. And for me, it's the most important. We're going to talk about food. How do you find amazing, delicious food while you're traveling? For me, this is the highlight. I love trying new things and being able to learn more about different cuisines around the world. So let's talk about a couple of important questions and some vocabulary to do that. Whether you're talking to someone at the hotel where you're staying, maybe it's your Airbnb host or some people that you've just met at a cafe, you might ask them, where can I try some local or authentic food nearby? And if they have a recommendation for you, you might say, can you show me where it is on Google Maps? If you're just walking around and you pass by a restaurant that looks really great, maybe you want to take a look at the menu. So you might ask someone, do you have a menu I can look at? That is a great way to check out what is available at the restaurant and make sure that you'd be happy eating there. The good news is, in a lot of places, the menu will be posted outside, so it's really easy to do that. But if not, you can always ask. If you're sitting at a restaurant and everything looks amazing, you're looking at other tables, there's this amazing smell, you're reading the menu, and you just cannot decide what you want to eat, then you can always ask your server, what do you recommend? Or, what's the most popular dish here? What's the most popular dish here? Those are two great questions to find out what might be the best thing to eat at the restaurant if you can't decide. And finally, if you've been wandering around all day and you're actually really tired, you're in an Airbnb and all you want to do is hang out in the apartment for the rest of the evening. You're tired, maybe you want to watch some TV, and you just want to get some takeout or some delivered food. In English, we often talk about eating out, which means eating at a restaurant. For example, I might say to my friend, do you want to eat out tonight? So of course, the opposite is eating in. You want to be at home. One of the benefits of an Airbnb or a house swap or any accommodation where you have a kitchen is to do a little bit of cooking. Maybe you get to buy some local ingredients and do a little bit of cooking at home. Or you might prefer to do takeout, which means you go to a restaurant or somewhere and you buy food to bring home and eat at home. And now it has become super popular to have some food delivered. In many cities around the world, we now have things like Uber Eats, Deliveroo, and these are companies where you can look at restaurants and menus online. You order your food online and someone drives or takes a bicycle to the restaurant, they pick up your food and they bring it to you. It's pretty crazy, but it's really awesome when you're tired. So if that seems like a good option to you, but you're not sure what's available, you might ask someone, what is the local delivery site here? What you're really asking is, what is the name and the website of the company that does local food delivery? As always, I do have a couple of challenge questions for you, and this is what I'd like to know. I'd love to hear about your international travel experiences. Have you learned some new words or expressions or questions in English as you've been traveling? If you have, please be sure to share that with me. You can do that in the comments section at the end of the lesson. If you found today's lesson useful to you, be sure to give it a thumbs up on YouTube and like it on Facebook. And if you know anybody who has some international travel coming up, feel free to email it to them as well. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you next week for your Confident English lesson.